Shall we begin?
Why not? Welcome to Frankie Sense and More. It's like she's got a whole lot of goodness for you with a little bit of sass.
Frankie, did you just say...
She sure did. Not to mention, along with...
Whoops.
Join us now as Frankie Picasso and her new co-host mix it up with authors, musicians, and interviews with world-changing people.
Let's begin, pal.
Okay, let's begin now, because it only makes sense.
It totally does only make sense. Welcome to Frankie Sense and More, my crazy world. How's everybody doing today? Wow, this is great. The end of the month, that means that Brent Marchand is here. You know who he is. He is our movie correspondent. And I've got a really special, fun show, and I'm really excited. But I'm going to start off with this little monologue. So, what happens when a Canadian radio host, moi, gets together with a Nigerian actress, a bisexual Jew, a bipolar coach, an American baby boomer, a teenage Pakistani author, an Indian men's rights activist, a religious minister, an African-American attorney, a lesbian fiction novelist, a transsexual, a single mother of 21 orphans. And then what happens when they team up with a middle-aged world traveler, a divorced digital media queen, a social entrepreneur, a Muslim singer, a genderqueer academia, a nurse turned TV host, a cancer-ridden South African political activist, and the list goes on. What do you think really happens when 21 unstoppable women from different continents get together? Well, today you're going to meet at least one, but I was hoping for two of them. Well, you're going to meet me too, so that's kind of three. Here we go. Yvonne Heath is with us. I know that. She's with us for sure. And she is married to her best friend. She has been a nurse since 1988. Yvonne has worked in Canada and the U.S. in every department from the emergency room and obstetrics to chemotherapy, palliative care, and hospice. Today, she's an inspirational speaker and author of Love Your Life to Death, founder of the Just Show Up movement, who believes in talking about end of life way before it happens. And it looks like our other guest, Isamar Carrillo Masso, she's trying to get on the show. I will get to her in a moment. She has been a teacher and advocate for women's rights in Venezuela. She's been working on her PhD in England, focused on video games and women's studies. So interesting. Her work has been published in journals, conference proceedings, book chapters, and opened a conversation on the portrayal of women in media. Today, she and her husband run a research and development company for medical devices, and they are trying to change the life of people living with diabetes. Wow. Well, welcome, Yvonne. You're here with us. Welcome to you.
Thank you so much. I'm thrilled to be here.
Wow. So,
Thanks, Frankie.
Oh, you're with us, Sam?
Yes.
Awesome. You're here too. Great. They got you on. Perfect. Well, ladies, first of all, I want to thank you both for agreeing to be part of the I Bared My Chest movement book. Foundation, Global Foundation, and the whole bit. It's just incredible. But I want to ask each of you separately. First, I'll go with you, Yvonne, first. When you were asked to be a part of this, what made you say yes?
Well, Frankie, considering that a lot of what I teach, a lot of what I speak about is grief, death, and dying. And then when we had a conversation, you had interviewed me about my book and my mission. And then you started telling me about these incredible 20 other women from around the world. And the fact that you were even considering me, I listened to the list and I read what everybody does, and I'm like, well, I'm the boring one. I'm nurse turned TV host. So it was just a huge honor, and to be able to share a different side of my story and my journey. I'm just absolutely delighted to be connected with these incredible women who take action. And,
first of all, I'm going to stop you for a second, because you're not the boring one. You've got, you're the one with a young hubby. You're the one we're jealous of. Yeah.
True enough. Yes. And I did pull off having twins at 40. I guess that gives me a point or two.
Holy crap, man. I had them at 30. That was hard enough.
Oh, yes. But no, connecting with these women, it's also very motivating. These are global changers. They're not just people, they're willing to take action, not to walk their talk, and to be the change they want to see in the world. And every time I read something about any of them, it inspires me to do more.
Wow, nice. And
Yes.
Sam,
Yes.
I know that I was actually working with you on your PhD when I was telling you about this new book I was going to get involved with that we were planning, and your response was, "Oh my God, can I be part of it?" Like that was
Yes,
you really wanted to do.
absolutely. I mean, the idea was so incredibly exciting, and I couldn't believe you wanted to have me. So yeah, definitely. I mean, it's an honor. So many
Well, why wouldn't we want to
amazing
have
women.
you? I mean, you're
Well,
originally from
yeah.
Venezuela, right? You're originally from Venezuela, and you're living in England, and your husband is Muslim, and there's just so many interesting things about you and the story. So maybe we'll tell let me give the listeners the premise of the book. So we have a book. We have 21 authors, 21 unstoppable women who are getting naked as in bearing their truth, their down to their soul, and they're talking to you in this book, and they're telling you their life. And it's not a chicken for the soup soul book. It is a real wholesome, fulsome book that really bears witness to their life, and they're talking to you as if you're their journal or their best friend. And as you read this book, and you wouldn't have to read it in order, but every woman is asked the same questions, and not everyone answers them in the same way, but they're all asking, we've asked them all this question, and we've tell us what you feel about this, and finance and career and love and sex and everything, and they've answered these questions as honestly as they possibly can, and it's wonderful. I don't think it was a book that you would read in order, but you will find one of those 21 women, you will identify with them, and they'll resonate with you, and you'll get their story, and they're going to help you in a way that you don't even know yet. It's going to be fantastic. So when you were writing, and I know I pushed you guys. I know I pushed you, Yvonne. Come on, bear more.
Yes.
You can do more. So, we all hesitate to show our blemishes, if you want to call it that. We all want to put our best foot forward in the world. And I understand that for sure. How difficult was it for you? Really?
Are you asking me, Frankie?
Yeah, I can ask you first. Yeah.
Yeah. So, the truth of the matter is it was just so different talking about myself and, sharing all of my story. And, well, why would anyone want to know my story? And then as I, started writing, and as you know, I shared, it sounds like a windstorm there.
Yeah. If somebody can, if you're outside, just go on mute until we talk to you again, please. Thank you.
There you
That'd
go.
be great.
Yeah.
Much better.
Yeah. There you go. So yeah, to talk about things from the beginning of my life, and like I said, I had to, without giving too much away, I had to talk about my mom being pregnant. Like this little virginous person, and found herself alone and pregnant, and I was the product of that. And it was a painful journey for her. It was painful to revisit, but I know I'm not the only one that's been through that. I know I'm not the only, and neither is my mother, right? So I was very delighted that she was also willing to share that, because as all of the other women in this book, they have shared things it has nothing to do with them, like, oh, by the way, this is my story. I know everyone has the same intention, and that is, maybe I can make a difference for somebody else who has been through this.
Right.
So it did feel really, it was cathartic to share it, and also a journey with my son, going through drug and alcohol addiction, and that was, a very difficult road. So I was happy that they were willing to share. I was happy to get it out. And if it can help one other person who has gone through the same thing, or they could relate to that, and it gives them inspiration.
They're going through it now. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then, it makes it all worth it. It makes it just wonderful to put it out there. So
I mean, you look at drug addiction hurts a lot of families, and there's going to be other parents and women for sure who are going to read it. Men and women will read this book, and for sure they're going, to identify with that and see how you handle things, and that's just, amazing. Sam, I know it wasn't an easy book for you to write either. You had to revisit some hard times.
Yes, that was absolutely a difficult thing to write about, but it was cathartic, and it was, I just wanted to tell people that it does get better. It gets better, and, just to hang in there and to continue to do you in the best way you can within your circumstances. That's what I wanted to tell people.
That's great. And, here's the thing, you are dealing with some major health issues now. You've got, really, really bad chronic pain. It was a real, chore for you to even come on the show. I know that. And I know that I asked a lot of you to do it, but it's so important. And here she is, and she's laughing, and she's telling, look, your life, it's not going to be the same all the time. Things change. And so things do get better. And you see that through all the stories. And the common denominator that you both mentioned is that it was extremely cathartic for each and every author to write the story. And everyone after they wrote it seemed to blossom, seemed to spark some kind of energy, creative energies, and really propel their businesses in new and different ways. They're writing other books. They've started new businesses. They've done, new things, thinking of new ways to do stuff, and which is really cool.
Absolutely,
we see it from all of you. Yeah. It's incredible. We're going to go to commercial break in a minute, but go ahead.
I just wanted to say, I think it also helps you make sense of your life. It's like put it together as a story when you have to tell somebody else about it or put it in writing. And when you make sense of it, then there is a sense of, there was a point to this whole thing. There's learning,
Absolutely.
there is experiencing things. So, yeah.
There was value in all of the hard times and the good times.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. We're going to go to commercial break. You are listening to Frankie Sense and More. Yvonne Heath and Sam Masso is with us today. I always call her Sam. Sorry, Isamar. We will be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Heck no. We're just getting warmed up. Frankie Sense and More will be right back after we pay the bills.
Do you ever wonder if you're the only woman who runs errands in her yoga pants so it will look like she went to the gym? Or how about the only mom who feeds her kids raw cookie dough? Or are you the only one who cooks her family cold cereal for dinner? Do you need more laughter and less loudness? More self-love and less self-loathing? More joy and less judgment? You're not alone. Come to the living room, a place where we get comfy, candid, and confident together. Come seeking sanctuary and leave feeling renewed. We're saving a seat for you. Give yourself some living room today.
It's words you never heard.
If you had to choose between your sweetheart or your pet, which would you dump if one had to go? According to a recent study, most pet owners, 84% to be exact, said they would keep their spouse or significant other and give away their pet. That leaves 14% who said they would choose their pet over their spouse. Surely my husband wouldn't sway, haffle-caffle, or have a bulia. That's indecision about keeping me or the dog. He does greet our dog before he greets me when he comes home from work, though. Unmarried people are even more likely to choose their pet over their sweetheart, with 25% saying they'd rather keep their canine than their girlfriend or boyfriend. What's another word for a dog lover? Xenophilist.
It's words you never heard.
I'm Carolyn Davidson, and you can have fun challenging your words you never heard vocabulary with my new app, Too Funny for Words.
And we're back. I promised you we'd be back, and here we are. I'm here with two of my co-authors from I Bared My Chest, Yvonne Heath and Isamar Masso. Yvonne, we were going to talk about your new movement that you founded, Just Show Up, and you really have a way of bringing it all together and weaving what we're doing with the book, what you're doing with Live Your Life to Death, all of the things. Why don't you tell us about that?
Thanks, Frankie. Well, what I realized with I Bared My Chest is this is truly what all of these women are just champions, ambassadors of the I Just Showed Up movement without even, I didn't even realize that, but I did put it all together because what I realized with Love Your Life to Death, the biggest problem when it comes to people who are grieving, having a hard time, and that's job loss, addiction, mental health issues, whatever it may be. The biggest thing is we don't know what to do and we don't know what to say. Isn't that just across the board, right? Like people, they're having a hard, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. So we often avoid. And I say to people, you know what? That is the last thing we need. That does not help people heal. 3 words, just show up. Those are the 3 words. So I got really excited about those 3 words, and then it morphed into the I Just Showed Up campaign. And we have these bracelets to remind people, because if you want to be able to just show up for other people, which all of these women and I Bared My Chest are champions. However, the first piece is you have to just show up for yourself first. That's the piece that and I feel like I'm like the mother hen, the nurse that has to maybe, give little nudges because, oh my goodness, all of these authors, they just give. And sometimes they forget the self-care piece because they're just so passionate about the change, about being an advocate. And so I feel like I'm so happy to be here to say, you know what? Yes, you're so amazing at showing up, but you need to show up for yourself first.
Are you showing up for yourself?
Absolutely.
Okay, good.
I am. And I do forget also sometimes, right? I do. And I go, but I have my bracelet. I go, oh yeah, I have to walk my talk and just show up.
Well, one part of that though too is that givers, find it hard to get. They really do. They find it hard to receive.
Yes.
It's much more comfortable position to keep giving than to be receiving.
Yeah. And you're not being a very good example, right? And you're not giving the best version of yourself.
That's true.
This is a concept, children, people of all ages. So the whole thing is we want to teach people of all ages how to just show up for themselves so they are empowered and resilient when grief arrives, and they can show up for others as well. So that's the whole message.
Nice.
Easy.
I love it. Yeah. And Sam, like you're really, a good proponent of that message because, the past couple of years have been very challenging for you, physically. And, you are going everywhere and doing whatever you can to give yourself the best self-care that you possibly can get.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, that's something you have to do for yourself. Nobody else can do it for you.
Yeah. I mean, this is so interesting. Do you want to talk about the with the hyperbaric chamber? And how you got into that? That's so cool.
So a few months into my illness, after diagnosis, I found out that there was this hyperbaric oxygen chamber in Bristol, which is just 12 minutes down the road from where I live. So that was a lucky coincidence. And I just started going there, and you do 20 sessions for saturation until you find the right pressure for you. And
I think we just lost you there for a moment. You still here? Sam? Do we still have her?
Oh no, she's not there.
Did she drop off?
Oh no.
Yeah. Oh, she's still there. Okay. We're not hearing you, Sam, so just keep trying and we'll come back to you. As soon as I hear you, we'll come back over to you. So she's okay. Yeah, she's in her car driving, actually. She's, a correspondent today. On her way to bigger and better things. Yeah. But that's okay. That's okay. It's challenging I also suffer with chronic health pain and it's challenging to keep doing all the things that we want to do when you have these challenges. I mean, challenging and challenges, but it's true. It's difficult, but you have to just keep smiling and be unstoppable and keep going and offer yourself the best self-care that you can get, right? As a nurse, you know that, Yvonne.
Yes, absolutely. And, the big thing and the hard thing about all of that, Frankie, and I'm sure you've been through it, is you have to allow yourself to grieve your old healthy body, right?
Yeah.
Because and I know you've been through that. You have to allow yourself that sadness. Like, this really sucks. I used to be able to do this, and this, and now I can't.
Yeah.
But then you have to say, okay, I've grieved, you honor that grief, and then, okay, but I can't do this, but what can I do? Right.
Yeah.
And I think that, again, all these women are great. What can I do? I can't do this. My health.
But I can write a great chapter in a book. Sam's back.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah.
I am.
Okay. So you dropped off from us, but you were telling us that you go to 20 some odd sessions in the hyperbaric chamber. What does it do for you? Or for anybody?
Well, it reduces the pain somewhat to a more manageable level.
Okay. Is that oxygen that's doing that?
Yes. The oxygen and the pressure together do this. And it's amazing because a lot of the brain fog that you get with fibromyalgia and ME and diabetes, a lot of that's gone. So I was able to get back to work on my PhD and also go back and work at, just have a normal job at the office.
Sure. Normal job at the office, creating, a product that's going to help people with diabetes. I do want to ask you, because you just went to Venezuela, you just went to visit your home and your mom, how is she doing? And that is, important. But it's a country going through some really tough times.
Oh, it's horrific, Frankie. I had never seen anything like it in my life. You have lines a mile long.
Oh my goodness.
For a loaf of bread that you may not get. People start to get in line at 2-3 in the morning. So that maybe by 5 p.m. the next day they can get shoes for their kids to go to school. There's nothing in the hospitals. I mean, they don't even have aspirin.
Oh my gosh. So well, you know what? This is horrific. And this is one of the reasons, I was really adamant that when we did the I Bared My Chest book, that we put a global foundation together, because Alex and I really wanted to be able to give $1 million away of our profits, give $1 million away to different organizations around the world for freedom to be able to feed your children, give them clothes, send them to school, have a voice.
Absolutely.
Like, this country shouldn't be like this. You had a country that operated and people had, homes and they had food when you were growing up. It wasn't like that.
No, it was, we had problems like any country, but
sure.
it wasn't like this. But, it's a repressive state. There's a horrible dictatorship. And you see, you're just driving down the street and you see all these children. They're 15, 16 years old. Who are going to go and confront the government and the army. Wow.
And just get shot for it.
Or whatever. It's 72 of them have been killed in the last 3 months.
Oh my gosh.
Just children.
I don't understand. If you're a dictator of a country, don't you want to be a dictator of a country that's wealthy, that has happy citizens? Why do you want to kill them all off and just have nothing?
You would think.
Yeah,
apparently
it's crazy.
Not.
Yeah,
I guess the book didn't have all the instructions for that part. So, yeah.
Wow. Was there a part of your story in the book, Sam? You don't have to. I don't want you to give it all away. But was there a part in it that you were most proud of being able to tell, or that you really hope people will benefit from?
Oh, there's so much there that I would hope somebody can connect with. But things like the fact that I'm part Jewish and I'm married to a Muslim man who comes from a Muslim family, and we make it work, and everybody is okay with it.
Right. And it's interesting that people, they just don't understand how global we are and how connected we are. because like, Venezuelan, part Jew, living in England, married to a Muslim. I mean, oh my gosh, like they're everywhere. We're everywhere.
Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they make it work, and individuals, can make anything work. I don't understand why countries can't.
Definitely. I think, politics sometimes gets in the way, and that's why we need to get our voices out there, our individual voices, and especially as women.
Yeah.
I think we need to really, in a way, be role models for the girls that come after, because, there was nothing like this when I was growing up.
But the basis of your thesis and stuff, I know it's in gaming, but you've done a lot of work around women's studies, and so what do women have to do? I mean, what do women have to do to really, show up, in your opinion?
To show up, especially in the STEM fields, you have to be very resilient. When you go to school, don't let the fact that you might be the only girl put you off, from studying maths or whatever you're passionate about. And don't let people intimidate you or tell you that it's not ladylike. That is absolute ridiculous BS. It's not necessary to put us in those tiny little boxes.
Right.
We are a lot more than that. We are vast. We have the capacity to do anything we want to do. So
I love that.
So just show up for yourself, and when you need help, ask for it. If you need somebody to get together with you and buddy up or whatever, if you don't feel safe, just ask for help. Don't shut up and end up giving up on things.
Right. I love that. Be unstoppable. Yeah. Those are great points on how to be unstoppable as a woman. I love that. Thank you so much for that. Hey, Yvonne, We're going to show up.
Well,
and we're going to go to commercial break.
Okay. Woohoo.
Yeah, we show up and then we have to go to break, but that's okay because we are going to come back, and we want all of you to come back with us and with Yvonne Heath. Love Your Life to Death. Go visit her website, Love Your Life to Death. And we're sitting here with Isamar Masso, and she's just so lovely. And sitting in England, having a cup of tea, hopefully. We will be back. I'm your host, Frankie Picasso. It's Frankie Sense and More, and shortly.
Heck no, we're just getting warmed up. Frankie Sense and More will be right back after we pay the bills.
It's words you never heard.
Got a lead foot? According to state troopers, here's what not to do when you get pulled over. Don't be a lachrymous and start crying right away. It doesn't help. But if you're under 20, crying won't be held against you. Don't ask for a break, and don't yell or start any argy-bargy. And one trooper said, if they're going to flirt with me to get out of a ticket, it would probably insult my intelligence. But unfortunately, I don't get hit on all that often. So flirting or being a gill flirt won't work. Did you know that 15% of all drivers get 76% of all traffic tickets? And the odds of winning if you challenge a traffic ticket in court are 1 in 3. So what should you do when you get pulled over for speeding? Be courteous to the officer, and most of all, be honest.
It's words you never heard.
I'm Carolyn Davidson, and you can have fun challenging your words you never heard vocabulary with my free app, Too Funny for Words.
It's the Fitness Minute with fitness expert Annette Hammond.
Did you wake up on the wrong side of the bed? Does your attitude need a lift? Does your mood need a boost? Well then, it's time for a good workout. Exercise is a remedy for a bad mood, like aspirin is for a headache. Weight Watchers reports that exercise decreases the body's levels of cortisol, which is the stress hormone, and contributes to depression. The endorphins that you produce when you exercise can lift your spirits and put you in a good mood. Exercise can act as an antidepressant drug because it produces feel-good neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin. Let the benefits of exercise give you a lift and put you in a good mood. I think it's safe to say we all would appreciate it. I'm Annette Hammond,
To hear more fitness and weight loss tips, visit our website at AnnetteHammond.com.
Hey, it's Frankie Sense and More. I'm your host, Frankie Picasso, the show where anything, who knows what's going to happen on this show. Before we went to commercial break, though, Sam gave us some wonderful points about being women and being unstoppable. And, you know, off camera, as they say, Yvonne had a burning wish to say something. I'm going to let her loose on you guys. Go for it.
Oh, thank you, Frankie. It just is bottled up, and I just have to say it. And, you know, so much of when I hear what's going on in Venezuela and everything, there's so much of our culture or around the world that has become normalized, right? We normalize, we hear about these things and it's normalized. And really we need to be that voice to say, you know what, we have normalized a lot of the wrong stuff. And it doesn't have to be this way. But one of the things, as I was saying, is people, especially women, feel like if they ask for help or, you know what, I'm struggling here, whether it's grief or whatever it is, they feel like, you know, I'm trying to show people that I'm unstoppable and I'm strong, so I can't ask for help. And really, that's just we need to reframe that, because asking for help or saying, you know, I'm struggling here, that's just being human. And we need to me, you're even stronger as a man or woman if you're saying, you know what, kind of having a hard time here, could use a helping hand. Most people are willing to help, and everyone's kind of relieved thinking, geez, she needs help, because then it gives them permission to need help sometimes too.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, when you just started that, it made me think about, you know, knowing Sam, you know, brings us closer to what's going on in Venezuela. And there's things going on in every country around the world. There's like 7 or 10 countries always on the verge of genocide. And it's horrific to know that. And it's a lot of pressure to try to keep up with it and think, oh my God, the whole world. But, you know, you don't have to be worried about the whole world, but there is, you know, a place in the world that you can all think about and dedicate some time and attention to, whether it, you know, become an activist, like really, or an advocate for somebody or something in the world. And every time, you know, we help one thing, you know, it's a snowball. There's a snowball effect, and we'll just all, you know, keep at it until, you know, things look better for everybody.
We can make a difference. That's all there is to it. Everybody can make a difference, a positive or a negative. So choose positive. Yeah,
right? Absolutely. You know, with the situation, let's say in Venezuela right now, Sam, how can we help? Is there a real way that we can help? Can we send supplies to somebody that you know that will actually deliver, or is there an action we can take?
I'm trying to coordinate something. I think the safest way to get medication and supplies to people is to actually have somebody go there, because there's a lot of corruption in customs. So if something is not accompanied by somebody, then there's a real risk that it will not reach the people that it's supposed to reach. So I'm working on putting a plan together for the next couple of months. I will be raising funds and then sending somebody or going myself and taking things like, you know, toiletries, medication, insulin especially, to hospitals in Venezuela. And, you know, watch this space. I'll try and make public, you know, some sort of
you have a site
way
for
to
this?
help. I'm in the process of creating one, so
okay.
I will.
So let us
send you
know.
The link.
Let you know, all of us, all the authors know, especially, and you know, we'll try to keep it in the forefront and keep it out there so that we can help the people. Medication, I mean, is the biggest. And can you imagine being diabetic and not being able to get your insulin? Like, oh my gosh, the hospitals have nothing.
So many people have died. I mean, the government literally told people with MS, with cancer, with diabetes, you're on your own. We're not importing anything else.
Wow. That's, oh my gosh. I can't even imagine. And I know, it is. It is criminal. But people don't know this, you know, I guess we have to become compassionate. What's the word? Fatigued with it all. Because it's just, you turn on the news at night and there's nothing good ever. But we have to we have to put the positive spin on it. We have to put the good back in it. And so we can be ambassadors for good and we're going to help
Yes.
Sam take medications and toiletries and toothpaste and whatever else people need to feel like human beings again. You know, Maslow's hierarchy of
Thank
needs, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
We can
Yeah.
do this.
We can do it, and we will do it.
Yes.
Woman, hear me
Well,
roar.
thank you.
There you go, Yvonne.
No, thank you so much for giving me this airtime to talk about Venezuela. It's not something that gets discussed very often yet.
Well, I think
there's
that's, you know, like I said, it's the reason for our book. People need freedom. They need freedom for this kind of things, and it hurts me when they don't have it. And so if the 21 of us and everybody else who is listening, you know, when this book comes out, you can even pre-order the book right now at www.ibaredmychest.com. You can buy the book right now, and it's going to come out in September, but you can buy it right now, pre-order. You know, these funds are going to go and do some really good things in the world. So even if, you know,
Absolutely.
it's a big book. It's a big book. You're going to get your money's worth. I promise you that. Yeah.
Right.
Yvonne. Boy, like,
Yes.
you made a promise to yourself in January, right after you finished your chapters, and you said, this is it. I'm going to make $1 million.
Oh, yes. Did I say that?
Yeah, you did. Excuse me.
It's on its way. I know it is.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, and that $1 million, it's funny because it's not for furs and diamonds. It's so that I can share my message globally and, you know, be able to make our van payment at the same time, which is hilarious. But it's funny because this whole movement, like Love Your Life to Death, and I Just Showed Up, it's like my fourth child and my fifth child, if you will. And I'm so, you know, I'm just so cautious, and I wanted my message to be so streamlined, and I want to be that professional. And I kept thinking, okay, no, let's just wait. I'm not ready to reach out to, you know, the masses. I have to just, you know, trim off the edges, trim the fat, and I'm there. I've arrived, and I am still my imperfect, weird, authentic self. And what you get is moi and all my weirdness. But
that's
you know
what we
what?
love.
Well, and that's now good enough. And I've reached that point. Like I said, I wanted to be a professional speaker. I wanted to have a professional presence, and I'm there. And that doesn't mean that I'm not goofy and weird. I mean, ask my kids, Mom, you're kind of weird. I say, yeah, I know, that's fine. Everybody's kind of weird, and that's okay. And I'm ready. I'm ready to take my message across Canada and globally. I want 1 million bracelets. That's what I'm getting. I just showed up bracelets. I want 1 million bracelets across Canada in the next year. So
awesome.
So that will get me there. Yeah. And it's like, have book, have bracelets, we'll travel.
There you go.
And yeah. And you know, with I Bared My Chest coming out in September, that's just a whole other wonderful, exciting part of this journey that is just, it's fun, it's exciting. And like I said, I am in awe of every woman who is a part of this. And it keeps you globally aware. You know, Sam, you talking about Venezuela, you can't unlearn that. We can't say we don't know. And I want to be, you know, I want to light my candle. We can't change everything, but we can change something. We can do something. And I believe it's each and every one of us is each and every one of our responsibility. We are, you know, people across the globe. So I love every part of this.
We are all connected. Yeah, I love it too. Yeah. And the more I talk about it and the more I think about it, the more excited I am about it, because it's such a cool venture. And it just, you know, it wasn't planned. It wasn't planned for the diversity. It wasn't. And it just became just so unique and diverse and amazing. That's what's so cool about it. In its, you know, unplannedness, I guess you could say. The universe turned it into something really special. So how cool
really is.
Yeah.
Yeah. It really
I'm excited. I'm very excited. And I'm very excited, Sam, that you were, you know, feeling well enough to come on the show today, because I don't get to talk to you half as much as I used to. And it's so nice to hear your voice.
I know, I miss you.
I missed you too. I do. It was great, and I really want to make sure that you become Dr. Masso as soon as you can. She's so close to her PhD to finish it. Like her PhD's finished. It's just massaging now, right? They're just gonna have to read it and your thesis.
You're amazing.
Yeah, she's gonna be doctor soon, so I'm pretty excited about it.
Oh,
And we got our Brent coming on. Is he here with us yet? He should be coming on right now, I think. And we're gonna go to the movies. You ladies can stay. It'd be great. If not, feel free. If you're tired, you can go. But I'm just so grateful to have both of you in my life, in my book, and on my show.
I am really grateful having met you, and all the women that are part of this project are absolute inspirations, and it is a privilege.
They're stellar. They're all stellar. Every single one of them.
Yeah, can I add something, Frankie? Because I know as you say that, you never toot your own horn because you are extraordinary. Your story is amazing, and you are absolutely unstoppable. And I am in awe of you, so there.
Oh, well, thank you so much. That's very kind of you.
It's true.
Very kind. Oh, thanks.
That's just real. Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's nice. I appreciate that. Putting something together like this, the magnitude of it, I was off my rocker thinking we could do it in 3 months.
Yeah.
I really had thought we could do it. We can pull this off in 3 months. No problem. I've done books before. No problem. But, Alex and I, Alex, of course, my writing partner and founding partner for this, we really talked about this yesterday about how all this waiting time really added value. And it did. So I'm really glad that we were able to do that. Brent Marchand, you are here.
Yes, I am.
Wow, it's so good to hear you.
Good to hear you too.
Thank you. Brent is our movie correspondent and for the Good Radio Network and now other networks. So congratulations on that.
Oh, thank you.
You are here to talk about a few movies. Dunkirk,
yes,
The Journey, A Ghost Story, and maybe Under the Sun. Where do you want to start?
Well, let's start with Dunkirk. That's the movie that everybody's talking about right now.
They are.
It's director Christopher Nolan's World War II epic about the evacuation of the soldiers from Dunkirk Beach when they were surrounded. And this is a film that lives up to every single bit of its pre-release hype. It's really terrific in just about every regard. It's the kind of movie that I wouldn't necessarily think would come to mind for listeners of this segment, that it's a war picture. How does that have to do with movies with meaning? But the thing that I like so much about this film is that it has a tremendous capacity for being able to show viewers mankind at its worst and at its best.
Brent, we're going to commercial.
Frankie Sense and More will be right back after we pay the bills.
It's words you never heard.
Which U.S. state would you guess has the fastest talkers? Recent research by analytics company Marchex revealed that the nation's fastest talkers come from Oregon, Minnesota, Massachusetts, Kansas, and Iowa. What about New York, you ask? New York ranked near the bottom at 38. But New Yorkers do use more words. A New Yorker will use 62% more words than someone from Iowa who have the same basic conversation. What's another word for fast-talking? Tachylaya. America's slow-spoken or tardiloquent talkers were from North Carolina, Alabama, South Carolina, Louisiana, and Mississippi. What's a word for someone who likes to say the same thing over and over? A batologist.
It's words you never heard.
I'm Carolyn Davidson, and you can have fun challenging your words you never heard vocabulary with my free app, Too Funny for Words.
It's the Fitness Minute with fitness expert Annette Hammond.
To be successful at anything, you need to be committed. Being committed to losing weight and exercising daily works the same way. According to a survey conducted by USA Today, the majority of Americans do not exercise on a regular basis. They found that only 5% of respondents reported vigorous physical activities, including using cardiovascular exercise equipment and running. It has also been reported that 50% of all people who begin a training program drop out within a year. Dedication and commitment is what is needed. The key to reaching and maintaining physical fitness is to find activities that are exciting, challenging, and satisfying. Become committed and dedicated to exercising daily and see your life and health change in a favorable direction. For the Fitness Minute, I'm Annette Hammond, keeping you healthy, happy, and fit.
And we are back. Oh my gosh, I am like everywhere. You are listening to Frankie Sense and More. I'm listening to myself, apparently. Brent Marchand was in the middle of telling us about Dunkirk, the movie, and let's get back to it.
Sure. As I said, one of the things I really liked about this film, unlike a lot of other war pictures, is that it successfully shows viewers examples of mankind at its worst and mankind at its best. And that's a tricky feat to be able to pull off in the same picture.
Yeah, no kidding.
Because, obviously, these characters are going through the horrors of war, but at the same time, you get to see how they were rescued, which was organized through a citizen flotilla of boats, owners of yachts and fishing vessels and anything they could find, who crossed the English Channel to France to get them out and save their lives. And it's just so inspiring to see that, no matter how bad things can get, there's always hope that things can get better. And that's one of the real strong points about Dunkirk that I think helps to separate this from a lot of other war pictures.
Well, you've got 4,000 guys on a beach sitting ducks.
400,000 guys.
400,000 guys sitting on a beach, sitting ducks, just Germans come, pop, 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 pop. And even the promos made me cry. And here every fisherman, every guy with a boat went out from England, and said, okay, we're gonna go pick these guys up. They got to come home. We got to bring them home. Like how extraordinary is, and it's true, a true story is that.
It's a true story, and it's told from three perspectives. It's told from the perspective of the soldiers on the beach who are waiting to get out. It's told from the Royal Air Force pilots who were engaged in dogfights to try and keep the Germans from bombing the beach and the ships that were getting away. And it's also told from the perspective of the ship owners from England who were crossing the water to get the boys and get them home. And it's really well done. Really, really well done.
What's the journey about? Oh, the journey. I know what
the journey. Well, The Journey is a movie that it's probably just about ending its theatrical run right now, so listeners may have to wait until it comes to DVD, but I'm guessing that probably won't be too terribly long from now. But it's a story about the peace process that was brought to Northern Ireland back in 2006. The two leaders who were negotiating it, Ian Paisley and Martin McGuinness, were sworn enemies, had never met each other before, and now they're trying to sit down and hammer out an agreement to bring this thing to an end. And as a result, part of their talks were interrupted when Paisley wanted to go back to Northern Ireland to celebrate his wedding anniversary. Mm-hmm. And his counterpart said, well, I'll let you go only if you let me go with you, because if you do, the chances of either one of us being assassinated are significantly reduced.
Right.
So they end up going on this car trip to the airport that lasts about an hour, and this is where the movie turns into a piece of what I would call speculative history, because it tries to imagine what these two people who've never met before would have talked about during that journey. Now, a lot of critics have been critical of it, saying, well, it's a complete piece of fiction, how accurate is it? But I like the speculative aspect of it, and the fact that it raises a number of the issues that people probably didn't get much of a chance to find out about when this was going on. Mm-hmm. It's also a really interesting exercise in showing how people can build consensus. When the backs are against the wall, what can we really do to make this work? And in that regard, it's almost like a civics lesson of some sort, I guess you could say. How can people learn to be civil toward one another?
Right.
So it's a wonderful little film, terrifically acted.
Disney told us that, Thumper said, if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all.
Exactly, yeah. But it's interesting to see how the relationship between these two who had never met before evolves over the course of the film, where they went from being essentially sworn enemies to like almost the best of friends.
Wow.
And the two lead performances by Timothy Spall and Colm Meaney are just terrific. So.
Oh, I love Colm Meaney.
Yeah, they're both really, really good. So when this one comes to DVD, go rent it. I think you'll really enjoy it.
Yeah, totally. Sounds great.
Then
I'm really looking forward to the Ghost story.
Well, the Ghost story, this is one I have to kind of give a conditional review to because basically, if you're well versed in the material that's presented in the movie, you'll probably like it.
Uh-huh.
If you're not very well versed in the material, you'll probably come out with a very puzzled look on your face.
Okay.
Basically, it's the story of a young composer who dies unexpectedly in a car accident, and he finds himself dead and confused and not sure what to do. So the only thing he can think to do is go back to the house where he lived in with his girlfriend, and says, he's kind of witness what's going on and see if he can figure out what the next step is. Well, during his time there, he ends up basically experiencing a number of very interesting metaphysical, spiritual concepts, like the role of reincarnation, the role of simultaneous time, references to Nietzsche's theory of eternal recurrence.
Did he not know why he didn't transition over? Or?
Yeah, well, that's kind of part of why he's there, yes. But as all of these different kinds of ideas are displayed cinematically, because that's one of the things that's interesting, is that the director just doesn't spoon-feed these things to you and tell you them. He depicts them through action and cinematography.
That's interesting.
If you're well versed in these things, you'll probably say, "Wow, this is brilliant."
Right.
But if you're not well versed in them, you'll probably go, "Huh?"
So when people look at the promo, or they look at even the imaging of the media graphic for the film, do you get a sense of I'm going to like this or not, or you think it's something different?
I mean, you get the sense that he's going on some kind of very mystical journey.
Okay.
Which is interesting, and if you leave yourself open to that, you might find some of that interesting. But again, if you're not familiar with what the aspects of his journey that are being depicted, you might, again, come away somewhat confused by it. So
who stars in that?
It's Casey Affleck and Rooney Mara.
Oh, I love both of those.
So
yeah, I mean when she did which was that? I want to say it wasn't Girl. Which one did she do? That Irish film. Wasn't it an Irish film? It was a really strange film too. Oh, the Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
Oh, the Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. Yeah.
Yeah. She's great. I mean, she's really versatile. Like she can do a whole bunch of stuff. So she was the wife.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Or the girlfriend of the guy that died. Casey Affleck died.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very cool.
So it's beautifully photographed. It's got a really interesting soundtrack. It's got a
Does she sense him at all in the movie?
I'm sorry?
Does she sense him?
Not really, no.
Okay.
Although she does sense that she needs to move on from the house where she's living because there are too many quote-unquote ghosts of her past around. So, but it's kind of a visually interesting picture to look at, and I like the music with it and so forth. So, it's, again, I'm kind of saying this is a mixed review for this one.
Yeah. Okay. Under the Sun.
Under the Sun. This was a documentary that was not very well known, but has really as much of an interesting backstory behind it as the movie itself. It was a film that was essentially commissioned by the North Korean government. They wanted to create like a propaganda film, very much in the style of the things that were produced during the Nazi era and the Stalinist era, and they wanted it to follow the path of a young schoolgirl as she becomes indoctrinated into the Korean Children's Union, which is an organization that's designed to help, make the state look great for the kids.
Oh, wow.
So they hired a director to come in and film it, and he agreed to the terms that were very stringent, saying, the dailies that were shot each day had to be reviewed by officials and so on and so forth. What they didn't count on is that he was going to keep filming between official takes that they didn't know about.
Oh.
So
this is a real true story?
Yes. So
Oh, wow. That's really exciting.
You end up seeing what the government was hoping would be portrayed alongside of what actually happened.
Did it get out?
Wow.
Yes, he did get out.
Oh.
Yeah, and when the movie was released, the North Koreans were absolutely incensed that he had done this. They demanded that it be pulled from circulation, and they tried to lure him back to North Korea, saying, well, let's negotiate a settlement about this. Of course, he declined that invitation.
Sure.
So it's interesting to see, what this girl goes through in terms of trying to, be part of a model citizen program, but also seeing just the emotional toll that it takes on her in terms of just trying to be herself.
Yeah. Wow, that's exciting.
Very powerful.
We've only got a couple of minutes left in the show, but I do want to say that you can go to the GoodRadioNetwork.com and you can read under Movies with Meaning. He does reviews every week on films, and you can read all about them. He does a fantastic job of reviewing, and you're just going to go and see some fantastic movies if you read up on them first, because he does, just such a great job at it. Sam, I hope that you feel better every single day. And I am so excited for you to come up with your plan to help Venezuela, and we will support you as much as we can. And of course, my dear friend Yvonne, we're just going to show up. We're all going to show up for you just show up. Yeah, we'll show up for you and Yvonne, and for I Bared My Chest, because it's such a great book and such a great foundation. And I'm just so amazed by all of you guys. I want to thank you all for being in my life and for coming on this show, because, you're my guys, and I love you.
Thank you for bringing us together,
Love
Frankie.
you back, Frankie. Yeah. And don't forget to show up for yourself first, Frankie and Sam.
Oh, yeah. We will.
Uh-huh.
We will.
Yes, it's a great reminder.
Thank you, ladies.
Brent, what's the big one coming up next, do you think?
The next big one coming up is Detroit, which is a film about
that's going to be a good one.
Yeah, it was directed by Catherine Bigelow, who did The Hurt Locker. And it's a depiction of the riots in Detroit back in the 60s.
That's going to be awesome. I can't wait to see that. Yeah. So I got lots of good movie watching to do.
Oh, absolutely.
Thanks again for coming on. I appreciate it. Everybody, thank you for tuning in to Frankie Sense this week and every week that you do. And Karina, thanks for doing such a great job producing the show. I look forward to seeing you all again next week, wherever you are in the world. Thank you, girls.
Thank you.
And go to the I Bared My Chest website.
Bye for now.
Bye. Go to www.ibaredmychest.com and have a look at who the authors are. You'll be meeting them all each and every week on this show, starting now until September. Take care. Thanks, Karina. Bye, everybody.
Take care.
Take care. Bye.
Shit, now you